Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is Ly Tu Tien and Jack secretly prepare a heartwarming surprise for Mother Loy. A gentle story about a secret gift, a short trip, and the quiet warmth hidden inside a familiar home. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. The morning in the house begins very early. Soft sunlight passes through the beige curtains and falls across the tiled floor in a pale strip of light. In the kitchen, the soft sound of boiling water comes from a small kettle. Mother Loy stands by the counter, her hair neatly tied up, slowly arranging cups onto a tray. The smell of hot tea mixes with the scent of freshly cooked porridge and warms the kitchen from the start of the day. Outside, drops of water still cling to the leaves of the potted plants. A pair of slippers sits neatly by the front step. On the dining table, breakfast is already prepared. Simple, but carefully arranged. Upstairs, Jack steps out of his room in a dark shirt and pauses at the top of the stairs. Down in the kitchen, Mother Loy is still ladling porridge into bowls, her movements slow and steady. Ly Tu Tien steps out of the room beside his not long after, a small notebook in her hand. She walks past Jack, looks downstairs, then asks softly, "You've been watching Mom for a while, haven't you?" Jack keeps his eyes on the table below, then says quietly, She looks thinner these days." Breakfast goes on like any other morning. Mother Loy asks the same familiar questions. About work, about schedules, about whether they will come home for dinner. Jack answers briefly. Tu Tien smiles and adds a little more food to her bowl. Morning sunlight, quiet place, not crowded. Hot tea in the afternoon. Garden view room. Tu Tien sits across from him, flipping through a brochure. The photos show bright, peaceful places. Low trees, wooden chairs by the porch, tea tables under the shade. She circles one place with her pen, then slides it toward Jack.
"How about this one?" she asks.
Jack studies it for a moment, then nods. Yes, Mom would like a place with a porch where she can sit and have tea. Neither of them says much more. The room is filled only with the sound of turning pages, the soft tap of a pen against paper, and the low hum of the air conditioner. Jack makes a few calls to rearrange his schedule. Tu Tien checks the weather and chooses a day with beautiful sunlight. In that quiet space, the gift from Mother Loy slowly begins to take shape. That afternoon, Mother Loy sits in the living room, folding freshly dried clothes. Beside her is a neat stack of towels. Tu Tien walks by, then stops and sits down to help her. On the tea table, a plate of sliced fruit still glistens with juice. In the corner, the fan turns slowly, carrying the warm smell of sunlight in from outside.
"Have you been very busy these past few days?" Mother Loy asks.
Tu Tien smiles gently, not too much. And Jack, is he still staying up late? Tu Tien smooths out a thin towel in her hands. He's still busy, but I've been reminding him to sleep earlier. Mother Loy only nods. Outside, the shadows of the trees stretch long across the doorway. The next afternoon, Mr. Dung comes by. He sits with Jack for a while on the back balcony. Jack shows him the travel plan, the departure time, the place they will stay, and the meals they have already arranged. Mr. Dung reads everything carefully, then says in a calm voice, "It gets colder there at night than it does in the city. Bring an extra light jacket for her." Jack nods. "I already prepared one." The plan stays secret until the last day. Inside the house, everything still looks the same. Mother Loy waters the plants in the morning. Jack goes to work and comes home late. Tu Tien checks on dinner in the kitchen, and sometimes cuts extra fruit to leave in the refrigerator. The only difference is that in the corner of the study, there is already a small, light brown bag. Inside are a thin scarf, headache medicine, a box of flower tea, and a new pair of soft slippers. On the morning the surprise is finally revealed, the weather is especially beautiful. The sunlight comes early, golden and soft. Mother Ly walks downstairs and sees a small handbag resting on the chair, with a light scarf folded neatly beside it. Jack is standing near the door, already dressed in his jacket. Tu Tien steps out of the kitchen, holding a freshly filled thermal bottle. Mother Ly looks at the bag, then at the two of them. "What's all this today?" Jack walks over and picks up the bag for her. "You're coming with us on a little trip, Mom." Tu Tien smiles and hands her the scarf. "You don't need to prepare anything. We already took care of it." The door opens, and sunlight spills across the floor. Mother Ly slowly steps out into the yard. The car pulls away while the road in front of the house is still quiet. The early city passes by outside the windows, rows of trees just waking up, a few food stalls arranging tables, a few motorbikes rushing through an intersection. Tu Tien sits beside Mother Ly in the back seat, gently adjusting the scarf on her shoulders. Jack drives. Mr. Dung sits in the front. Inside the car, there are not many words, only soft music and sunlight moving slowly across the glass. The place they arrive at is outside the city, with a low wooden fence and a gray stone path leading through a small garden full of sunlight. The guest house is painted cream, with a dark tiled roof. On the front porch are a few rattan chairs and a low tea table. A little farther away is a small lake, its surface smooth like glass. Mother Ly steps out of the car slowly. The air there is cooler than at home, carrying the smell of freshly cut grass and sun-dried wood. She stands by the porch for a few seconds, looking at the bright yard and the teapot already placed on the table, steam rising into the air. "It's so peaceful here," she says softly. Tu Tien turns back with a smile. "Sit down and rest. Mom, I'll make tea for you in a minute." Lunch passes with a simple meal. Hot soup, boiled vegetables, steamed fish with ginger, and white rice. After lunch, Mother Ly sits on the porch drinking tea. Tu Tien sits beside her, peeling an apple. Jack and Mr. Dung take a slow walk around the garden, then return and sit across from them. In the afternoon, all four of them walk to the lake. The small path is covered in tree shadows. The sunlight has softened, and the wind moves gently over the water. No one is in a hurry. No one is pulled away by a ringing phone. There are only slow footsteps, still water, and a wooden bench beneath a low tree. In the small kitchen, Tu Tien arranges a plate of cakes. Jack pours tea into 4 cups. Mr. Dung pulls the chairs out onto the porch. Mother Ly sits quietly, looking out across the still yard in front of her. The night air is cooler now, carrying the smell of damp earth and faint flower tea. After dinner, no one goes inside right away. They stay on the porch a little longer, watching the garden lights form small circles on the stone path. Jack sets his teacup down, then turns slightly toward his mother. "How do you like this place?" Mother Ly looks out at the quiet yard, her voice soft and slow. "It's beautiful. It's been a long time since I've had a day like this." No one says anything more. The wind keeps moving through the trees. The lake in the distance rests under the soft, dark sky. That was the secret gift Ly Tu Tien and Jack prepared for Mother Ly. It was not anything grand, just one day away from the familiar kitchen, away from the usual routine, away from the little tasks she still does every day. Just a trip with sunlight, hot tea, rows of trees, and family sitting beside her through a slow, quiet afternoon. Because sometimes, the most precious gift is not something expensive or extraordinary. Sometimes, it is simply being remembered, being invited to sit down and rest, and being surrounded by a peaceful moment prepared by the people who love you most. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoy fan-made stories about Ly Tu Tien and Jack, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. See you again in the next video.